in today's video, we're going to be discussing why credit and credit cards are significantly better than cash. Just before we start, I recommend watching the video from beginning till end. That way you get to understand the great importance of credit and credit cards. And so I think it's cute, as Cartman would say, to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. So anyways, cash is being used less and less, and thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic, people are forced to be using their credit and debit cards to make purchases rather than cash due to the sanitary issues. So the first main reason right now is that cash is dirty. Literally speaking, many people touch it and no one really ever cleans their money. Like, I personally don't know anyone that does. And at the same time, a lot of cash, especially in other countries too, is still made out of cotton and or paper. Thus, it's not really washable in any way. However, if you're like in Canada or in Australia where they have plastic money, you could technically wash it, but again, I really don't know who's washing it. But let's be real, no one's washing their money. And so by using your credit card, you're actually reducing sanitary issues by tenfold, simply because the majority of the time you're the one holding the card and you're the one tapping the card and or using it and not really, handing it to anybody. The second reason is cash is costly for businesses. I know it sounds a bit ridiculous what I'm saying, but it's true. Even though as a store owner or as a business owner, when you accept credit cards, you do have to pay a processing fee, and it could be anywhere from 0.1 to like 10%, average 2 to 3%. It really depends on your business and how big it is. However, you do have to pay a fee. Even though you have to pay a fee, this fee outweighs the costs that businesses have to pay and or waste time when processing cash, right? For example, if you ever worked as a cashier and when you want to check out, you got to make sure all the cash is there. You got to make sure that everything is balanced out. You got to be sure to put the cash away and that no one, touches it or messes with it. And so everything needs to be accurate, but humans make mistakes. We either give out the wrong change, we accept the wrong amount, we misplace money. And also, like I said, it takes time to do all this. It's not like a 2-second thing. It's anywhere between a 5-minute to a 30-minute thing, depending on how much cash and bills and coins you're counting. Whereas with digital payments, whether with your credit card or your debit card, all of it's actually done automatically. The integrated software gets the payments and then it counts everything automatically. And in this whole ecosystem of cash-based businesses, there's not only the cashier that needs to count the cash and whatnot, you also need to transfer this cash to a financial institution. And so you would then need to hire like armored vehicles and people, and these people then take the cash from the business establishment and then, travel all the way to the financial institution and drop it there and make sure everything is safe. This is literally how Wells Fargo began, right? Wells Fargo had a horse and a carriage and he was transferring money to the financial institution and he would then take a cut from that. However, you got to also make sure that Wells Fargo or the person working at one of these armored vehicle money transportation systems, that they themselves don't, rob that money. Because it does happen once in a while where an employee actually robs money from a company and or business that needs their cash being transported. So there's liability involved with that cash. Now, compared to credit cards and credit, everything is more or less traceable, trackable, and covered and easily retrievable if it goes missing and or stolen. Now with cash, depending on the scenario, if you're a big business and you're hiring a transportation system, I'm pretty sure insurance is involved, and so insurance would cover you. But if you're a small timer and you don't have insurance, or insurance is not willing to insure you, well then, you could be out of luck if money gets lost. And so digital payments like credit cards pretty much get rid of all that risk. And this is why more and more businesses are now just accepting credit and debit cards only, so that they don't have to deal with that. And so it saves time. Since it saves time, it saves money. And since you have less people accounting, driving vehicles, and possibly making human mistakes, you're going to be saving so much more money and so much more time. Thus, these businesses or entrepreneurs will grow their wealth faster. And even as a personal consumer or as a user of a bank, it's the same thing applies. You know, you're no longer counting your pennies and your dollars. You're no longer having to wait in line at a financial institution. You can basically just do everything online and get rid of all of the time wasted due to a cash-based system. Reason 3, there's way more liability holding cash than using your credit or debit card. If your cash gets stolen, you know, there's not really much you can do. Yes, you can file a police report. You can hope the police do an investigation on this. You can then hope that the police do find the perpetrator. You can then hope that it makes sense to go to court, and you then hope that the person attends the court, and then you hope that the person is guilty, and then you hope that the person even has money, because if they don't have money, then you're not gonna get that back. And in all genuineness, it's not really worth it to take someone to court for like $200 or something stolen out of your wallet. It's just not worth it at all in terms of time and money. Whereas if your credit card gets stolen, any funds that were used, let's say they just tapped it at like multiple places, that's all gonna be refunded back to you, no questions asked. You just let your credit issuer know about that. And also you get to retrieve your card back. The moment you let your credit issuer know about the stolen credit card, they will then send you a new card in which your old card then becomes inactivated and it can't even be used anymore. So significantly safer than cash. Reason 4, you can hold way more money on a credit card than cash. Like with one credit card, you could have like a credit limit of $1 million. Not that I'm saying people, you know, the average person has a credit card with $1 million limit, but even if you have $10,000 on it or $8,000 on it or even $1,000 on it, this credit card takes up significantly less space than if you were to have like a bunch of cash. Even $5,000 holding in your wallet is going to be like this thick. Now imagine $1 million, which is gonna be like suitcases. So you can technically hold way more money and have it on you 24/7, and you don't ever feel like you're at risk because all of it's protected, and technically to access it, the individual also needs to know your PIN. So it's significantly more secure. Like I said in the previous reason, it's almost impossible to retrieve your cash back. Whenever cash or like a physical asset gets stolen, you know, it's like you kind of just pray you get that money back. Like if someone stole my credit card with $1 million credit limit, I honestly would just be like, whatever. I'm just gonna call my credit card customer support line and they're gonna help me out. Now, if someone stole $1 million worth of cash or like gold or something, I would honestly be really nervous and have a lot of anxiety because I know truly in my heart, it's probably gone. I should just kiss it goodbye and forget about it because chances are it's just not coming back. Reason 5, when you do use your credit, you're more inclined to learn about the financial system. And by learning about the financial system, that leads into other good things such as financing, mortgages, business loans, business lines of credit, brokerage accounts, the stock market, investment accounts, and you get to build your credit. Whereas with cash, all you can do is buy stuff with it and accept it, but that's pretty much where it ends. If you don't ever get yourself into the financial system, especially into the digital financial system, then you kind of forget or you don't learn about all the tools that are available to pretty much everybody, such as, like I said, mortgages, financing, higher credit limits, and etc. Basically keeping you poorer than the person who does know about credit and the financial system. Someone who makes $3,000 a month and just only uses cash versus someone who makes $3,000 a month and finances a home, I'm telling you, the next 10, 20 years, they're going to be significantly wealthier just due to the equity of the home. And they probably know how to stabilize their wealth better in terms of when they need access to money now, but they don't have it, they'll be able to pay it off in the future. Compared to the cash person who may freak out during times of delayed payments, or like, let's say there's a leak in their house and they need $6,000 to fix it and they don't have $6,000, then it's going to cause more anxiety and make decisions that are even more costly, such as waiting until you have the cash and maybe that leak ends up expanding to other parts of your home, and thus, you know, there's mold and whatever and your house becomes worthless. I'm going a bit over top, but that's genuinely the truth behind people who know about credit versus people who don't know about credit. Reason 6, most basic credit cards, so not even like premium credit cards that have an annual fee, offer a lot of perks. One of the major perks being the 0% zero policy on unauthorized transactions, meaning whatever transactions that were done on your credit card and you didn't make them, the moment you report them, you get your money back. So if funds get stolen, purchases you didn't make, or purchases you didn't authorize, all of that stuff is 100% covered by your credit card issuer. Not only that, you can even dispute your purchases, including services that were not received, that were not described, or that were not authorized. I further explain this in this video over here. The link is also in the description below. And most credit cards, like a lot of basic credit cards these days, offer extended warranties of up to either twice or an additional year or up to 5 years. And they also offer purchase assurance. Basically, it's like this mini warranty if your product breaks, gets lost, or stolen within 0 to like 185 days. These two policies alone, it just makes using credit cards 1,000 times more beneficial to use than just paying directly with cash. Simply because you can't do it with cash. You can't dispute your purchases. There's like no third party unless you're going to court. And there's no extended warranty or purchase assurance along with the premium perks. And then there are premium perks. So these are usually given with cards that have some form of annual fee. And so these perks can be, but not limited to, flight insurance, trip insurance, car rental insurance, even longer extended warranties, even longer purchase assurance, concierge service, discounted pricing on certain services and or stores or products, travel lounge access, free upgrades on your trip, travel credits, and much, much more. And also a lot of basic credit cards offer cashback and or points. So might as well just get free money from your day-to-day spend, right? You have to buy groceries. You have to pay for your utilities. You have to pay for your Netflix. You have to pay for your internet bill. Might as well just get a return. And then this money can either be towards either just cashing out or a trip. And it's just free money, so why not? I don't get why people don't do this because it's just literally free money. All the trips I've gone to, my credit cards literally covered everything, including the trip, the car, and the accommodation. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket simply because the cashback I received was more than enough to pay for the whole trip. Again, something that cash does not do at all. Seventh reason, it's way easier to be on top and to do your personal accounting or business accounting when you pay with your credit cards, simply because your credit cards keep track of all your purchases. Not only that, you get to see previous purchases from up to like 12 years by logging in to your online banking. Compared to cash, which doesn't do that, it doesn't create a statement for you. And if you happen to obtain the receipts and keep them and then organize them and then make your own statements, sure. But with credit cards, it's pretty much done automatically for you. And some credit providers have their own softwares which do all the accounting amazingly for you without doing any extra steps. And that's it, everybody. If I missed any reasons on why credit and credit cards are becoming more important in the upcoming years, please let me know in the comments down below. I would like to know too. With that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I also have an email list for my YouTube viewers only. So for people who are YouTube viewers and want to get early access to videos, written content, and free content, feel free to join my email list. I promise you, no spam, no hunk of junk, only valuable content. It's in the description below. Simply just click email newsletter and it'll take you there. As always, have a good one and stay strong. This is Mike Gap signing out.